1-0 at Stamford Bridge, 3 points, one recognised central defender in the matchday squad. If someone had told you before that game that Manchester United were walking into Chelsea's ground with Aiden Heaven and Noussair Mazraoui as their centre-back pairing, with Maguire suspended, Martinez suspended, Euro injured and De Ligt still months away, you'd have feared the worst. Instead, Matheus Cunha scored, United kept a clean sheet, Carrick got the win. And now, heading into Monday night's enormous game against Brentford, there is genuine, cautious, don't get too excited, but also kind of exciting injury news filtering out of Carrington. Lenny Yoro could be back, Maguire returns from suspension, and Matthijs de Ligt has been spotted training on grass. It's not quite a fully fit squad, not by a long stretch, but after weeks of absolute defensive chaos, this feels like the light at the end of a very long tunnel. Welcome back. Subscribe if you're new. Let's break it all down. Before we look ahead to Brentford, let's properly appreciate what happened at Stamford Bridge, because I don't think it got enough credit. United went to Chelsea, 6th in the Premier League, playing at home, needing a big result after their own 3-0 hammering by Manchester City, with a makeshift defence that would have made most coaches physically nervous. Aiden Heaven, a youngster who wasn't even a regular starter at the start of this season, was paired with Noussair Mazraoui, a right-back by trade, at the heart of a Premier League backline. The reasons for that chaos? Maguire was suspended, a 2-game ban picked up for his behaviour after his red card against Bournemouth. Martinez was also out, suspended after being sent off for, of all things, tugging Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair in the 2-1 home defeat to Leeds. And Euro picked up a knock in training in the days before the game, ruling him out entirely. 3 senior centre-backs unavailable, all at the same time. And what happened? United defended resolutely. Carrick set the team up brilliantly, and Matheus Cunha, a player we've discussed extensively on this channel in the context of potential departures, scored the only goal of the game. 1-0, 3 points, clean sheet. That is a result and a performance that deserves serious recognition, because winning at Stamford Bridge with that defensive lineup is not easy. It's not even close to easy. And it shows a resilience and a collective spirit in this squad that earlier in the season under Ruben Amorim felt completely absent. Right, let's go through the injury and suspension picture properly, because it is complicated and it's worth getting absolutely clear on ahead of Brentford. Harry Maguire served a 2-game ban. He returns for Monday night against Brentford. Available, back in the squad. That is straightforward good news. Lisandro Martinez still suspended. The red card against Leeds for the Calvert-Lewin incident triggered an automatic ban, and he remains unavailable for this game. United will have to continue without him. Lenny Yoro. This is the big one. Carrick has given a cautious, positive update. Here's exactly what he said. We are still working on that one. There's a possibility, but at this stage it's not 100% sure. That is the language of a manager who genuinely doesn't know yet, but isn't ruling it out. There's optimism there. And given how important Yoro is to United's long-term defensive plans, getting him back, even partially fit, before the season ends would be enormous. Patrick Dorgu. The Danish left-back has been out since hobbling off in that remarkable 3-2 win at Arsenal back in January. A hamstring issue, he has not featured since. Carrick's update was positive though. Dorgu is making good progress and is back closer to training with the group. That is a real boost for United's left flank options heading into the final weeks. Matthijs de Ligt. And here's the one that has generated the most buzz in the last 48 hours. De Ligt, who hasn't been seen in a United squad since Michael Carrick took charge, has been pictured training on grass under the supervision of club medical staff. Let me put that in context. De Ligt had been battling a back problem that Carrick described as proving difficult just last month. At one stage, there were genuine doubts over whether he would play again this season at all. And now he's on the grass. That's progress. That's real, tangible progress. Let's talk about Matthijs de Ligt specifically, because his situation this season has been genuinely heartbreaking for the player, the club and the fans. De Ligt started this season well, really well. He was solid, commanding, exactly the kind of composed, intelligent defender United needed at the back. He helped the Red Devils to a 2-1 win at Crystal Palace on November 30th. And then disappeared, sidelined with a persistent back issue that refused to improve. Since Michael Carrick took charge of the club, De Ligt has been completely absent, hasn't made a single matchday squad for a centre-back costing the kind of money United spent on him. That's a nightmare scenario. Carrick acknowledged last month that there was no guarantee De Ligt would play again this season. Those words landed heavily. But now, training on grass. Individual sessions under medical supervision, doing everything he can to return. The club's official update was careful, no timescale given. Carrick hasn't disclosed when he might be available. But here's what I will say. Getting De Ligt back, even for 1 or 2 games before the end of the season, matters enormously, not just for this campaign, but for next season. Getting him some minutes, getting him game ready, rebuilding his confidence and sharpness, that is worth something significant. Going into a summer where United's centre-back depth is going to be heavily scrutinised, don't expect him Monday. But don't write him off for the final weeks of the season either. Now, the game itself. Because this isn't just any Monday night fixture, this is massive. United hosting Brentford, both clubs in the hunt for a top 7 finish in the Premier League, both desperate for 3 points, both with European ambitions on the line. Let me give you the picture. The top 7 is where European football lives for clubs who aren't fighting for the title or the traditional top 4. Conference League, Europa League. These are the spots that matter for United right now. A win against Brentford keeps United firmly in contention. A loss potentially catastrophic for their European hopes this season. And Brentford under Keith Andrews are not easy opponents. They're organised, physical, direct and dangerous from set pieces. They're a team that makes life difficult for everyone. You only have to look at some of the results they've produced this season against the bigger clubs to understand that this is not a gimme. But United come into this game with momentum. A 1-0 win at Chelsea is the kind of result that breeds confidence. The dressing room will be buzzing. Carrick will know his team can perform against top opposition. The home crowd will be there. Old Trafford, when the team is winning and the atmosphere is right, remains one of the most intimidating grounds in English football. United need to win, and right now, I believe they can. Let's talk selection, because Carrick has some interesting decisions to make on Monday. In goal, Senna Lammens is starting between the sticks. That's straightforward. At the back, this is where it gets interesting. Maguire returns. That's the biggest change from the Chelsea lineup. He comes back into the squad and almost certainly straight back into the starting 11. At his best, Maguire is a dominant aerial presence and a leader at the back. After his suspension, he'll be hungry to prove himself. If Euro is fit, and that's still a genuine if, Carrick might have a choice. Pair Euro with Maguire in a more orthodox centre-back pairing and push Mazraoui back to his natural right-back position. That would be a much more settled defensive structure than what United fielded at Chelsea. A proper back 4, experienced players in the right positions. If Euro isn't ready, Mazraoui likely stays in the middle alongside Maguire. It worked at Chelsea. There's a logic to keeping that partnership if it ain't broke. In midfield, expect Mainu to be involved if fit. We've covered his importance to United extensively on this channel, alongside Casemiro, depending on Carrick's preference. And in attack, Kuna starts. He scored at Chelsea. You don't drop your goalscorer Mbeumo on the right. A fluid attacking front 3 that caused Chelsea problems and can cause Brentford similar issues. It's a strong lineup on paper. And with the defensive reinforcements coming back, United should have enough to win this. And before we wrap up, I want to zoom out to the bigger Premier League picture, because it's absolutely wild right now. At the start of this month, Arsenal had a 9-point lead at the top of the table over Manchester City. 9 points with a handful of games to go. Title race looked done. Arteta's side finally looked like they were going to end the wait. And then City happened. City beat Arsenal directly, then took down Burnley. Suddenly, the 9-point gap is gone, completely erased. Arsenal and City are level on points, level on goal difference, 5 games to go. The bookies now give City a 58% chance of winning the title. The momentum has completely shifted. Now, what does that have to do with United? A few things. First, United will play City before the season ends. And for a City side in a title race, every game is about 3 points, not about rest or rotation. That could be a brutal fixture. Second, the drama at the top of the table actually works in United's favour in one sense. Every point Arsenal and City drop against each other is a point not in the dominance column. The league remains unpredictable right to the end. And third, watching a title race unfold at the top should be motivation for every player at Old Trafford. That's where United want to be, not fighting for a top 7 spot, but fighting for the biggest prize. And performances like the one at Chelsea, with Euro and De Ligt returning and the squad getting healthier, suggest that level isn't as far away as it felt 6 months ago. Let's connect the dots before the close, because the injury updates and the Brentford game don't exist in isolation. They feed directly into the summer. If Euro returns fit and finishes the season strongly, his value and his importance to United's plans are confirmed. There's less urgency to spend on a centre-back in the summer, which frees up budget for Leao, Tchouaméni or whoever else is on the wish list. If De Ligt gets some minutes before the season ends, same logic applies. United suddenly have centre-back depth heading into pre-season rather than walking in with a threadbare defensive unit and a long injury list. Dorgu coming back is huge too. A fit Dorgu means Carrick has proper left-back cover, which again reduces the summer shopping list in that position. Every player that returns from injury between now and May isn't just important for this season's European push. They're important for the credibility of United's squad heading into the window, while the healthier and more complete United squad looks at the end of this campaign, the smarter they can be about their summer business. Rather than panic buying to plug gaps, they can be surgical, strategic, targeted, which frankly is exactly how Ineos wants to operate, and exactly what this club has been missing for years. All right, let's wrap it up. Brentford on Monday night, United at home, Maguire back from suspension, Euro possibly returning, Dorgu making progress, De Ligt on the grass. After weeks of defensive chaos, of Heaven and Mazraoui being thrown into the deep end, of Carrick somehow extracting wins from impossible situations, this feels like a turning point. Not the end of the problems. Martinez still isn't back. De Ligt isn't ready yet. There are still challenges ahead, but a direction of travel that is unmistakably positive. My prediction for Monday: United win 2-0. Maguire scores from a set piece, because of course he does, and Kuna adds a second. Brentford make it difficult for 60 minutes and then United pull away. And then we start counting down to the summer, to Leao, to Tchouaméni, to a squad that, injury boosted and transfer strengthened, goes into next season with genuine ambition. That's the vision, and right now, for the first time in a long time, it doesn't feel like a fantasy. Drop your score predictions for Monday in the comments and let me know, does a fit Euro and a returning Maguire make you feel genuinely optimistic about United's top 7 chances? Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't. See you in the next one. Come on, United.